Welcome to another edition of Just Unsecure, a series on information and cyber security. You're all our great fans out there. We want to say thank you very much. Your co-host Babz, and yep, we've got OO. How you
Nice to
doing?
meet you, everyone, again. It's been a long time.
Yeah. I'd like to thank first of all, before we even go into the show, we want to thank all our fans that have been patiently waiting for this series, and also want to thank our family members that have bared with us while we're trying to do the production. And today, that's why we came back today. We have a great guest for you, right? Oh,
Yeah.
but
Today,
before
we
we,
have
yeah,
someone that you probably will be interested in listening to. Yeah. In the forefront of cybersecurity. And we hope you're going to have a good ride and enjoy today's show.
okay. Before we go ahead, don't forget to subscribe. Today's guest, we're going to be talking to no other than the CEO of CloudStride. And today's topic is going to be information security and cybersecurity roadmap in Nigeria. And yeah, we have it, Mr. Paul, the CEO CloudStride himself. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's nice. It's nice to be with you guys. I've been following some of your series, and it's a pleasure to finally collaborate and be part of the gang.
Interesting. Welcome on board. Happy to see you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And we are happy for you to be on the show. So thanks for coming on the show as well. So let's get straight into it. Before we go any further, tell us more about CloudStride.
Yeah,
and yourself.
Myself. Yeah, so I'm currently I left Sweden back to Nigeria. So I guess we can call it the Jackpada era for me. So I've been really interested in doing something back. I know it sounds really cliche when you say giving back to Nigeria, but I really meant it when I say that. So I've been thinking several years. I've been planning on how do I go back to Nigeria and set up something, especially within the security space. And then everything just kind of aligned, and then it was time to answer the call. So I moved back to Nigeria to set up to start CloudStride. I can speak about CloudStride all day long, so you just need to stop me when you think I'm when you think I'm doing marketing or pitching CloudStride. So CloudStride is CloudStride Technologies. Actually, it's a company that I started close to a year now, and we one of the area that we're dealing with is cybersecurity, which I think it's something that is pertinent to this episode. So among other things, but I guess as we start to discuss further, we will touch those different areas.
Incredible. You say one of the things that I've noticed in Paul's speech is being very modest. It's not like those busty entrepreneurs that want to talk to you about all the sales pitchy. Thank you for saving us for that. But we would like to know more about CloudStride.
That one is coming.
That is coming. I know that. You're just trying to be much more modest. But focusing on CloudStride, right? And Nigeria specifically, which is narrowing down to cybersecurity. What is the importance of cybersecurity to the landscape in Africa, as probably you've experienced in your recent interaction?
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting question because I have lived and worked in 7 to 8 different countries, right? And people tends to believe that when it comes to the to cybersecurity, Africa is exceptions to that, but it's totally lies, because Africa go through, especially Nigeria, go through similar similar challenges with other countries, right? So we have phishing attacks also happens in Africa, especially in Nigeria. And if this is not going to be out of context, I was really impressed, super impressed, moving back to Nigeria, see how technology actually works, especially within the banking sector. It's very robust compared to even Sweden. I go back to Sweden and Europe, and I was telling them that, guys, let me tell you something. Africa is really well developed. So, of course, that brings its own challenges, right? So, with proliferation of IT, especially with, if I know every of the statement I'll make will not be complete if I don't put AI into the mix, right? With the proliferation of technologies, it increases the surface area, right, for attacks. And then Africa is facing, Nigeria is facing similar problem, compared to the rest of the world. So, and that's what, by the time we get deep into the discussion, of course, I could give one or two of my experiences and speaking to people and evaluating different organizations to tell you, like, at least this is what I've discovered so far in my exploration in Nigeria.
Fantastic.
Perfect. I noticed you mentioned some of the key challenges. I would want you to elaborate more on the key challenges from a cyber and information security perspective you noticed in Nigeria. As in, if you can just walk us through some more in detail from that perspective.
Yeah, brilliant questions, Babz. So one of the things I've really noticed going to Nigeria and speaking to different organizations, is the area that we technical people always look a little bit less interested when we are looking at it. And that is the social engineering part. Because one of the things that drew my attention to cybersecurity, especially in Nigerian spaces, I keep hearing all this. Pardon my Yoruba language now. Like, I want hackers. Yeah, I want to hack this one. I want to hack phone. What it means basically is like the hackers. There are a bunch of hackers in Nigeria, and they've hacked this. And I start to imagine, like, okay, it's either they are extremely good, or there's high level of social engineering going on. So getting to Nigeria, I started to discover that actually the latter is the case, where you have people, you have organization spending so much time building all forms of deterrence and security mechanism to cover their infrastructure and to secure their data, but lacking basic training awareness, where you have a situation. There are, of course, I'm not going to mention names of those banks and companies where they faced a situation where they are solid and rigid. When it comes to the technical part, but suddenly somebody was compromising the organization and brought a USB with having given the person 300,000 naira to just take this and go and install it. And as you know, you could have all kind of setup. You are only as secure as your weakest link, right? So, and that was really two or three places, or two or three companies that I spoke with. That was it. They had all kind of appliances, security appliances, but of course they were still able to infiltrate them through some social engineering. And I have a recent case that actually happened now that I can share later on.
Thank you. That is really enlightening. You built every technology, you forgot about your people.
Hey, I'm guessing everybody's probably expecting me to start mentioning those big heavy words. But at the end of the day, what we are trying to protect is the data, right? Which is the confidentiality of that data, integrity of that data, and the availability of the data, right? And it's more or less like all hands on deck when it comes to that particular fulfilling those mandates. And social engineering is not something that should be taken lightly, right? It's actually what is really hitting Nigeria right at the moment, without them knowing. Actually, of course, there is a huge significant
copy the track there's but I also wanted to say you are spot on. Yeah, in security, like we say, you are only as strong as your weakest link. And the people, if your people are not educated security wise, then that's a loophole right there. So it's interesting to hear this aspect of how the Nigerian, should I say, the Nigerian market space or security space is. So I was assuming it's going to be it's a bit technical, but like you're spot on, the people are the weakest link in every organization and walk of life. So if that is weak, then the entire infrastructure, should I say, is weak.
It's just to follow up based on what you just mentioned, right? Are you saying, just to confirm to the people that are probably in diaspora who have another concept about Africa, that we don't have technology? So you're saying, if I may just ask on Amma on that, you're saying that in fact we in Africa, especially in Nigeria, where your company currently hosts, we have better technology compared to other Western countries as regards to security, but people awareness is the major challenge, based on what you said. Just want to confirm that and place that to everybody. Like, no, don't think we don't have the technology, right? Go ahead.
Yeah. So let's. I mean, I think that we also touch a bit on one of the things that I'm doing in Nigeria, right? So one of the things I'm doing in Nigeria is to also take the homegrown product and then turn those homegrown products into an international recognized product. So, I mean, that question, I think I can attack it in two different ways. I mean, one way it's we do have technology. Of course, you can argue that the technologies were not originated from Nigeria or in Nigeria, right? But that would be some kind of a lazy conclusion, because I mean, where does technology even originate from, right? I mean, and technology in that sense is more or less doing something in a different and a more innovative way. It's just that these days people liking technology to be only computing. So that being said, Nigeria, it's not to be bragging now, because I now have a company in Nigeria, but Nigeria is very robust when it comes to the technological front. I mean, I was giving one of my friend example, I think in London. I was telling him, like, we have started to use Flash Me Cash for, like, if I remember correctly, like over 15, 20 years, we've started to use Flash Me Cash. And this is something that we just caught up with in Sweden, like 5-7 years. And we have started using that in Nigeria for, like, I remember when I was 2002, 2001, when Intercontinental, or this, I can't really remember the name of this bank, we did Flash Me Cash. So yeah, technology in Nigeria is robust. It's especially the banking sector, right? And I've managed a very, very complicated IT project, home and abroad. And I can tell you that, I mean, Nigeria have one of the best resources when it comes to building technologies, and that also include information, cyber security and information systems as a whole. Of course, I mean, I don't think we can deviate. We can't hide away from the Jackpot syndrome, right? I mean, there's no conversation we have in Nigeria now without adjecting it with Jackpot syndrome. But in terms of technology in Nigeria, I would say, yeah, it's at par. It's at par with some of the technology that we have in Europe. I will rest it on that. That's at par. Yeah, I think I will say yes. But it will be ridiculous for anyone to look at Nigeria and say, okay, we are technologically backward. No, we don't. I mean, we have a bunch of these days. Now being in Nigeria, now I'm cashless. Actually, I do most of my logistics, most of my transportation. I do them. I pay with my bank apps. I do my business card without even meeting the person that is doing it on WhatsApp, and every of the correspondence is handled on different platforms. There are a bunch of, you want to order food in the restaurant, you want to, I mean, like it's, and of course that presents cyber more risk, right? Because that increases the surface area, right? And
Yes.
with that that exposes the system more, which is why I think, like, with the proliferation of different technologies, that kind of open up more risk, and hence it's a ripe time to start to harden the cybersecurity part in Nigeria, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. The next question, I think maybe Babz can ask that, but I have a lot on my mind. But let's Babz ask the next
Let's
question.
get him out. Let's get him out.
Oh, you have to get okay. I think for what you're saying now is cybersecurity seems to be something of major importance in Nigeria. So do you see, or do you have a roadmap? This is the burning topic of today: information and cybersecurity roadmap for Nigeria. What is that roadmap? What roadmap do you envision for cybersecurity and information security in Nigeria?
I mean, that's a very interesting question. I mean, like, I think I'll probably get a lot of finance and money if I'm able to just give an entire roadmap for Nigeria. But I will try, right? I mean, I will try, because I mean, taking a stab on that, it's not kind of far-fetched, because I mean, a country can be likened. Of course, I know that people will definitely have a different view to it, which is all right. But a company can be likened to an organization in that sense. So if I liken it to, or what is the roadmap that I have for Nigeria using CloudStride technology, so I would say the roadmap that what I envisage in the future is to, first of all, start by laying the foundation right now. That awareness, right? To lay the foundation, to create a proper framework around it. I mean, Nigeria just started. I can't really remember specific now. We now have like a Data Privacy Act. We are having different commissions addressing security, cybersecurity challenges in Nigeria. I was in a meeting. I had a meeting with someone from PECB, where they were actually in that meeting. We're talking about that Nigeria is going to be, Africa in general and West Africa, and Nigeria to be specific, is going to be attention is going to be on Nigeria when it comes to the cybersecurity, and that, which, I mean, you know that it's very difficult now to separate. When we talk about that cybersecurity, we have to put data privacy and data security and all those things part of it. So what I see as a roadmap for Nigeria is that, to start that awareness, and also to start to recruit or start to train the armies of cybersecurity. Because I mean, we can. I mean, I was thinking of getting really, really technical, actually, when I was thinking about all these things. But I just felt like, you know what, maybe it's not everything that we can actually start to just dive in technically. Maybe we need to start to create some kind of awareness around cybersecurity, start training people, start giving people some basic informations or basic training on, for example, if someone calls you and asks you for this, don't do that. These are the guidelines that you need to follow. Maybe you need to find a way to educate and reorientate people when it comes to cybersecurity in general. And then after that, you start to train people. I know Bosun is doing a great job with 3MTT, right? I mean, the idea is to, if I get the name correctly, I think he's doing a great job to get people trained, because we've lost a lot of competence, and that's one of the things that I'm also going to touch upon. I mean, my time in Nigeria, there are brilliant minds, but with the proliferation of technologies, it requires a bit of more hands on deck. But unfortunately, there's no enough hands to handle the challenges that will come in the future. So, which means my roadmap for the country will be to have an army that will be able to cater for all these challenges that will come in the future. So I would say, first of all, we have like awareness, we have training people, like Babz rightly said. We are only as secure as our weakest link, which means there's no one that should be left behind. We should create that awareness, and the follow up, have trained people to be able to have their resources to manage different challenges that will be posed. I wouldn't say might be posed, will be posed, because I can tell you authoritatively that most companies in Nigeria are getting hit badly. But of course, they cannot come outside and say it, right? So they're probably saying, scrambling their head and like just fidgeting badly in secret. But they're going through some challenges, and they wouldn't really mind having enough hands to help them to navigate those troubled waters. So I would say, like, get that awareness, get competent, and build a proper framework around it, and flesh all the standards, and this, for example, we have the data security, the data privacy act, and all these other initiatives. Let everything come together. So there is no one silver bullet roadmap that I see now, but I see constellation for this at this stage. I see a constellation of different initiatives coming together to create a more robust framework for the country.
Thank you for that. You mentioned key things before, the awareness, the banking industry, having the right technological environment to be able to do that. But if you look at all the regulations, right, especially even the cybersecurity framework, if you go to most banking websites, they are either certified to all of that. But has compliance not worked? What has actually happened in this scenario?
Yeah.
And the second thing is, apart from the major players like financial, what is happening in the other sector? Are the other sectors at par, banking industry or financial industry, or can we say like for like, they also have the same challenges in technology and in people, or one weighs above the other? Maybe they are weaker in technology, they are more abreast. So those are two angles that I would like to ask. They have certification. Why?
Yeah. So we are all professionals in cybersecurity, right? Showing a certificate that you are ISO 27101, even you are even implemented to the controls, doesn't exonerate you from being a target and being attacked, right? And of course, it's unfortunate that some of the organizations that I have encountered only have it as a show off, right? Because we do know that if let's pick the one that we are familiar, since we cybersecurity we are talking about. Let's pick the 2700, right? There are continuous maintenance and improvement. So security is not just a static endeavor. It's a dynamic endeavor. So if you rely on your laurels and you say, okay, I'm ISO 2700 or certified, hence I shouldn't be attacked. In short, that creates even more awareness, and you are more susceptible to be attacked by you having those ones. So yes, I would say you have it doesn't mean that you can't be attacked, right? And yes, what you need to do is to continuously. Security is not something that is just that you should just fix it once. Think that is it's just going to fix itself. No, it doesn't. So you need to continuously attend to it. You need to continuously improve on it. Find the different ways to mitigate different risk that you might face. So yes, there are actually. When it comes to being getting ISO certification in Nigeria, I think most organizations have started to adopt it. I myself, I'm going to. It's part of my services that I'll be doing like helping organizations to achieve ISO certification in both, of course, obviously the 2700 and the 9000 and any other ISO standard. But what I always we tell them, and what I've actually been telling them is this: it's not something that is static. It's a continuous adaptation and continuous improvement. So that's one. So then the big part of that question is it only it's if I remember, you can point me to the truth here, to the questions, like are other areas as secure, as robust as the banking sector, right? Did I frame
Yes.
it well?
That second question, like, yes, banking industry, they have all the certifications, they have all the bells and whistles. Is that the
Yeah.
same in the other sector of the economy, or is
It's
different?
absolutely not. It's absolutely not the same. I mean, it's all about the budget, right? The budget that the banking sector, the financial sector is spending on cybersecurity, I would say it's actually commendable, right? I would say they are putting it a lot of money, right? And for obvious reasons, right? They are also the one getting hit more, right? Now, bank we talk about, right?
That's where the money is, right?
You know the thing is this. I mean, when you are doing risk assessment, if you go with different model, let's say you go with assets based model, you can't be securing. We can pick any parastatals in Nigeria that even if their data is leaked and they are exposed, the fine is maybe 10,000. And now you are telling them to spend like $100,000 to buy security appliances. Of course, they're going to laugh. Of course, that's obvious, right? because the asset itself, the asset value, doesn't even warrant that they should invest that kind of money. So I guess that is the more reason why, while most of non-banking, non-financial organization, of course, we are not talking about maybe with telcos. Telcos is also very, very. They should be very, very. They are very, very. They spend a lot of money also in doing security, and I think oil and gas. But oil and gas is a bit. They are not as advanced when it comes, at least from what I've seen, they are not as advanced in cybersecurity when it comes to the financial sectors and telcos in general. But I guess every other major, the major players in Nigeria is usually like, I mean, if you talk about the federal government, you talk about the public sector, which federal government is it, then you have the telcos, then you have the financial sectors, then you have the oil and gas. Basically, those are like the four or five major different sectors in Nigeria, right? And the federal government, I don't know if federal government is actually investing in cybersecurity, but I think they are at least trying now to write policy. But
I would say because I come from a government background, so yes, they are investing in different ways, but yes, they are in investing. Obviously, the policies are parts, but technically, there's some. Shall I say, for example, the Nigerian Information Technology Development Agency does actually have some kind of sponsorship to develop some form of local talent, training local talent in software testing and things like that. So yes, maybe not to the level that we want it to be, but yeah, there's some form of sponsorship or budget allocated to information and cybersecurity.
Yeah, I was looking at this budget appropriation. Like, I mean, I don't see much of.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's not that much. I agree.
I don't see
but
much of,
let's not digress. There's something that really caught my thoughts when you mention homegrown talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that as to me, it's something unique that CloudStride is doing. where you're trying to, correct me if I'm wrong, trying to ensure that local technologies are able to compete with international brands and standards. Is that, am I right or wrong? That's one. And if so, another follow-up question is, how do these local technologies compare with what is coming from Western region, as well as how does it integrate, or do you see emerging technologies being used in homegrown products?
Yeah, I mean, like this, it almost felt when you were rephrasing this question that you actually wrote my market offering, because it sounds,
Maybe you need to
it
pay
sounds
me
like
now.
what,
Yeah.
yeah, it sounds like exactly what you even put it in a better way, right? So, um, so that is correct. Uh, the plan is to take the homegrown solutions and turn it into like international recognized solution. And I can let me try and break it down a little bit, right? So when people think about international recognized solutions, they of course, this might be a bit watered down, but at least it will drive the point home. What makes, because I have been in the IT space for over 20 years, right? Although I look a bit young, but yeah, I've done my time, right? and I have participated in building the so-called international recognized product. And when I went to, each time I visit Nigeria and I look at the product, people always think that what makes a product internationally recognized or international standard, it's just the code base alone. No, that is not the truth. Because when it comes to cleanliness of code, Nigeria, you can quote me anywhere, right? Because I have actually managed people from different countries, right? Nigerians write one of the they write the cleanest code. At least they are one of the resources that or country that writes that write the cleanest code, right? So, but how can you move from having a fantastic product to an international consumable or recognized product? It's all in the process and framework, right? So if you have an homegrown solution and you want to sell it to any international organization, one of the questions that they will ask is this: what happens if the person behind it suddenly get hit by a car? What are the process when you get I mean, questions start to come up, and then you discover that when those questions start to come up and you cannot really answer those questions, then it's not actually met the international standard. Because the idea that if anything happened to Bill Gates now, your Azure shouldn't suddenly disappear, right? It should still be business as usual. So which means you should be able to create a product that does not really, that has wrapper of processes and framework and standard that should still be able to work irrespective of what happens. We shouldn't be, that's what makes you international. And that only comes by you having processes, by you having frameworks, by you having solid pipeline, by you having all kind of building blocks and crossing the T's, dotting all the I's to make it into the international recognized. And that's we have there are home products. I was evaluating few products in the head tech, and I'm like, this is a fantastic product, but can it play in the international space? And the answer is no, because I could just ask one or two questions and nobody will be able to answer that question of like, okay, what happens if we remove this person? Okay, both double O and Babz, you have worked with all these high-end OEMs. Can you tell me that if their head of architect just leaves, then that product will stop existing?
Not
It's
at
a
all.
no-no. We don't even think about it.
At
We
all.
don't. In short, anything can happen to Bill Gates. We don't even think like if anything happened to Bill Gates, then suddenly Azure will go down. Suddenly our Microsoft Exchange will stop working.
Stop
No.
working.
It doesn't even cross our mind. But if we pick any solution in Nigeria, let's pick any solution in Nigeria, and you just think what will happen if the team that is building that solution, if anything happened to one of few of them, you can really say, that one, wow. Do I want to adopt this solution that after 5 years it will stop working? So that is what I'm bringing into the space. I'm bringing a solution where I'm bringing a framework that we can use to build, to take the homegrown solution, because they are there. It's not the functionality. The functionality could do what Microsoft could do what Oracle could do all these things, but they are still not adopted internationally. Why? Because of those processes I just talked about, and that's one of the things I'm bringing. They are processes. They are framework.
Just a little follow-up. Again, I think for me, it's more of the mindset of most people in Nigeria is a one-man business. But from a cybersecurity and information security, do you think also that the fact that we do not have collaboration and partnership in business also affects the products that deal in the information and cybersecurity? Because I'm not sure, but I assume some of these products you are trying to localize and internationalize, are they information and cybersecurity related products?
Yeah, some of them are, and you've rightly articulated it actually, because there is an African proverb that if you want to go fast, you go alone, and if you want to go far, you go in groups, right? So one of the things that we suffer greatly from in Africa, I would say in Nigeria to be specific, because I hate generalizing Africa, because I might actually be committing some generalization fallacy, right? But of course, I can authoritatively speak about Nigeria because I'm really Nigerian. You don't get Nigeria than me, right? We don't really collaborate. Competition is good, but there should be healthy competition, right? So, like you said, we can actually work together to build an international recognized product, and that is one of the things I'm doing. Like in Nigeria, okay, look at my angle. My angle, I'm not saying I have stack of developers building this product. They are homegrown product that have been built. So one of the things that I'm doing is partnering with the people, you can call them homegrown OEMs, right? That have built this product. And I'm telling them, see, I have what it takes to take this product to the other level. So maybe I will get to a certain level. I will need another expertise. Maybe that's where you, OO and Babz will now come in and say, okay, you know what? I need your expertise, especially in the cybersecurity space. That, okay, you are bringing in more things that I do not currently can offer this product. And before you know it, you also discover, look at all these great companies. When I was working in US, we had bunch of startups that opened very close to Google, just hoping that Google will buy them over. And rightly so. Google actually bought them over. Why? If you look at all these great companies, big companies, they know that they do not have the entire puzzle, right? So they collaborate through acquisition, through mergers, through different forms to build a more robust. I think it's something that we need to also improve well enough in Africa. And they say charity begins at home. I guess it's one of the things that we're also going to talk. I haven't reached out to you guys because I saw your program and I was like, these guys are doing fantastic stuff and I want to be part of it. And I feel that we can actually collaborate And I guess that's one of the reasons you invited me here today. And and I think we can collaborate and start to lay that roadmap, right? We can start to take a stab on that roadmap by collaborating and seeing how we can enrich the community, and hence start building the world-class product within the cybersecurity space.
Absolutely. I think that's
Absolutely.
the right place for us to talk about the collaboration a bit as well. That is really important, and I think I'll leave that about to mention that collaboration is one of the major things. You don't, as they always say, you can't build Rome in one day, but that can be also a story. If you have so many people like brain behind, you can actually build Rome in one day, so to say, because in the technology world is completely different. And that's what we really want to scale with some of the program that we'll have working with Paul. And I think Babz is going to talk about that.
Okay, yes. Thanks. I think OO said most of it. You reached out to Just Unsecure and we brainstormed, and that is the main thing. We brainstormed to say, look, Africa needs a platform where we could train the next generation of cyber armies, should we call them, without being army-like. So we thought, okay, let's come together and bring a platform known as AfriHackBox, which CloudStride was happily saying, "Wow, tell us more." And it was, should I say, a bit of fresh air to have someone as enthusiastic as you to actually share the same vision as what we in Just Unsecure wanted to do. And I will let you, CloudStride, kind of tell us the plan of how we're going to do the event, or should I say the AfriHackBox. And since we've come together, we've worked in the idea, putting it together to kind of set the foundation. Because you've talked about the training, you've talked about different aspects that you've seen. How does a platform like AfriHackBox, based on what we've discussed, fit into your roadmap and, again, the investment you're making in Nigeria from a cyber and information security perspective?
Yeah, amazing. So for me, it's not just about making the money, right? I'm also very passionate about empowerment, right? So about empowerment, and so which is one of the reasons I was very enthusiastic about what you both have been doing. I mean, it's been a fantastic work, and so when that opportunity came up, I was like, okay, well, we have to do this. And like you said, I mean, one of the questions you asked is this: what's the roadmap that I see for Nigeria when it comes to cybersecurity? And I said, it might be kind of beyond my pay grade, or even my how will I say it? Not just my pay grade, but my experience, with all humility, to draw an entire roadmap for a country like Nigeria, a complex country as Nigeria. But that being said, I think we might just be able to crack it, right? And one of the way of cracking it is to build capacity, not just building capacity, build it structurally, right? So I have so many friends that are in different disciplines. One of my very good friends is structural engineer, and when he tells me the importance of what structural engineers, what they do, then I have a different respect for them. One of the things he says is this: Paul, if the structural if a structural engineer doesn't come and see and help you to properly evaluate what you're going to do, you might fail. When you fail, you will fail really bad. So one of the things that we are doing now, why I see this collaboration very important is this: we are laying the structure, we are laying the foundation, and there is no better investment that you can do than investing in people. Actually, I cannot, because one of the things that is, when I'm, like one of the reasons why I have to move down to Nigeria is this: like, it's very, very easy for you to be in Europe or North America, or to just be out to be a diaspora and start to dissect Nigeria and think you're an expert. You know nothing except except all the things.
That statement is spot on.
Yeah. All the
Absolutely.
things that I read I studied in London Business School failed me when I got to Nigeria, right? I was like, oh, this was different too. Yeah, but that being said, people are the greatest asset in Nigeria, and Nigerians were very, very brilliant. I keep saying this anytime I have the opportunity to say it. We are very, very brilliant. We are resilient. We are very, very intelligent, and we are very, very industrious too. So I see this AfriHackBox as an opportunity to lay the groundwork, and start to empower people and start to bring the awareness of cybersecurity. And I have to say that the when it comes to cybersecurity and data privacy and data security, is still in very infant stage in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
I mean, I was reading the act. I read the act. I read this document. Of course, it's very close to GDPR, but you know that when it comes to GDPR in Europe, European countries are a bit ahead when it comes to data privacy in general and data security, right? But it's something that I feel that we can kind of melt with this AfriHackBox and the infancy stage of Nigerian Data Security and Data Privacy Act. Then it can actually meet and work properly. And I mean, it's like I know you both can relate to this. When you are setting up, when you are implementing like ISO 2700, right? You have the policies, you have all kind of stuff, but you need controls. And some of those controls, to be a bit technical now, there are technical controls, right? So
Exactly.
Yeah.
you have your legal people with GRC dishing out all these policies, and then you say, okay, but we need encryption. Oh. How does that even work?
That's
Okay,
where the rubber meets the road.
So we need confidentiality. So how do we make sure that the data at rest is actually not visible to people that is not supposed to see it? And that's when the technical guys will come. We just run encryption, we run AES algorithms on it, and we do this and we do that. Of course, that is how I also see Nigeria now, that we have the policymakers writing those policies, dishing out all different kind of acts regarding it. But we have AfriHackBox as more like controls. And I think, with all due respect, we can also write some few security policies. But let's give them that. Let's give the policy.
I agree with you.
So just to let all our fans out there know, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. There's going to be a platform, AfriHackBox. We're going to start off with an event, September 28th, 29th, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to start up with a CTF online event with cash prizes, conquer or win. Join the platform. Join us on Insta, on Facebook, on Twitter, LinkedIn, and sign up. Go to www.afrihackbox.com and sign up to pre-register for the event. Once the event is about to go live, we'll send you a live link for you to officially register with your hacking code name, and then you'll be able to participate. It's a 24-hour event. The winner will be chosen at the end of the event, and I am presented with the cash prizes. Is there anything I've missed?
No, I
Oh,
think you also miss that there's gonna be like the runner up prizes. Also, there's gonna be the third place, and there's also like, because like, we've been saying all evening that we are trying to also encourage people. It's not just we are not just looking for experts. We are trying to build capacity, which means even if you are a newbie, come. There's something for you,
Exactly.
right? And I personally, though I'm a startup, but don't underestimate my startupism, or however you put it. I'm also saying, like, I will be able to give the contestants, some of the contestants, the opportunity to work for CloudStride and be part of the cybersecurity team, because I've started to build up like a solid cybersecurity team, with the help of these two gentlemen that is supporting, that we're going to build a cybersecurity team in Nigeria, and it's going to really be dope. So you have the opportunity to work there as part of the what do you call it, as part of the is it incentives, or what will I put it? What
wow.
will I call it?
Yeah.
Wow, 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 wow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
wow.
That's
That's
a
great.
good incentive. Like, yes, if you're on board and you could be picked, you could be the end hunted, so to say.
Yeah.
So come and show
Wow.
your skill.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it
With
here
a
first. Wow.
juicy package.
So whoever watches this video, if you watch it to the end, you're in for a very, very good surprise. So, oh, that's great. I'm sure the winners are going to be excited. And every participant is a winner at the end of the day. The whole
And it's
point
gonna
is
be
to
for
have free
Nigerians
and
though.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be for Nigeria, in Nigeria.
Yes.
Okay, you put the clause there. That's a good clause. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
So people can jackpot. If you have left Nigeria and you want to win the cash prize, you can jackpot. It's totally allowed.
Yes, I
That's a
think that
great
is a
one.
part of the discussion we had at the first event, the hackathon event, is going to be focused on people that are in Nigeria and registered in Nigeria and resides in Nigeria at the moment. Yeah. While you can go ahead and register on the other, when you go to the website, you see other places where you can register if you are not a Nigerian. If you're an African or you're a Nigerian diaspora, you can go and register for the future event. But if you have resided in Nigeria and you are a professional in Nigeria, whether you're a beginner or you're intermediate or advanced, we all have you covered. Make sure you register your interest before we close that registration portal, because there's only a maximum that we can allow for this particular event.
Yeah, and the roadmap is really dope. I mean, so the plan is to continue doing it. So we might just be in your country in Africa.
Yeah.
And the roadmap is very, very exciting. I think it's I am looking forward to it, actually. So,
Yeah. If you're in other African country, just make sure you tell enough people to register in your country. Your country might be the next place. If we have enough people in your country, you might be the next country that we're going to move to. So that's an opportunity for you to quickly go ahead and spread this video and spread the news around.
Will we get the link somewhere on the?
Definitely, yes. The link is below. You can just go and click on that link, or follow that link, or go to our social media channel. You'll see the information as well.
Awesome.
Okay, I don't really have much more. I think, Paul, you've been an amazing CEO. I'd like to say thank you. I don't know if you have anything else you want to say to our audience.
Yeah,
I mean, like, so I would like to tell them to watch because I know people always like to watch fresh content until then they wait until you guys blow before they start to watch everything, right? But because I've actually been watching those I think this is like episode 36 or something, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And I found it very, very informative, right? I mean, knowledge is not esoteric to only one person. So, and there's always, especially when it comes to the cybersecurity space, I mean, there is a lot to learn, right? So, and watching Double and Bab's videos is something that has at least kept me updated on some of the trend that is going in the cybersecurity space. So I encourage everyone to follow up, and and thanks for having me. I hope I've not been all over the place with the answers to the questions, because I mean, when it's sometimes a bit challenging to articulate everything that is happening in Nigeria and try to find a concise way of of relating it. Yeah, but there are better days ahead, right? I mean, I'm still getting skin in the game. I'm still getting to learn how the space works, and of course, I mean, I think we will do this some other more time, and then we could have a bit of more pinpoint discussion on specific issues. So, and thanks everyone for watching, and so hopefully you're able to put up works.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Paul. Thank you. Good luck with all your adventures in Nigeria, and I'm sure with what you've said today, there's no doubt in our mind you'll be one of the companies to look forward to in Nigeria. Please keep the flag flying, and look forward to inviting you next time to give us a full detail of how your journey so far in Nigeria is going, and CloudStride technologies.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I will drink water to the success of that, because it's going to happen.
Yeah, we can drink something to it. Today, you are the only one missing.
Today is not drinking. Today is not drinking.
That's a good way to do it.
That's a good water bottle right there.
Go big or go home.
Go home.
Go big or go home.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's nice hanging out with you guys. I mean, it's really nice. Yeah.
It was good to have you.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Right.
That was amazing, Babz. That was really enlightening.
Beautiful. I couldn't have. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect. It blew me out of my mind. So I'm sure the fans and everyone watching is going to be totally blown out of the water. This is someone going to Nigeria, starting a business in Nigeria in an industry and specialty that we both have, and it's good to get that feedback, knowing what is going on ground back home and seeing how it relates to what we're actually doing, and knowing that people are actually watching our videos. Thank you. We really appreciate it, to be honest.
Don't forget to just spread the news. These are great content. We encourage you to go ahead and learn more, and please go to AfriHackBox.com and register quickly. If you are residing in Nigeria for the upcoming event, if you are in another African country, just scroll down a bit. You will see where you need to register and opt in early for the next event. That might be Africa or anybody that is outside of Africa that is in the diaspora, but African, full African. This is for African in Africa and beyond.
Thank you all, and see you as usual. Don't forget to subscribe. Just Unsecure. See you all.
Bye.
Bye.